Imagine finding yourself stranded on a remote island, surrounded by desperate souls just like you. Food is scarce, and every day is a battle for survival. But this isn't just a nightmare, it actually happened. This is the horrifying tale of Cannibal Island. May 1933, the heart of the Soviet Union. Amidst the vast forests of Siberia, an unspeakable horror unfolds on a remote island in the Ob River, a place meant to be erased from memory, known today only as Cannibal Island. Under the iron rule of Joseph Stalin, a social experiment was taking shape, an experiment so terrifying that even Soviet officials would try to cover it up. The victims, thousands of men and women from all corners of the Soviet Union, ripped from their homes and herded into the wilderness. Their crime, many had none, other than falling on the wrong side of Soviet power. The plan, in theory, was resettlement. Stalin's idea of clearing out society's undesirables and putting them to work on agricultural projects in the Siberian wilderness. But Nazino Island was never prepared for them. No food, no shelter, no tools, just miles of icy waters and treacherous marshland. And so, within days of their arrival, survival became a game of the fittest and a descent into brutality. 6,000 prisoners sent to Nazino Island, 4,000 dead within weeks. In this forgotten corner of history, survival instincts turned darker by the day. With no food or resources, prisoners turned to extreme measures. Witness accounts describe the unimaginable, the cannibalism that earned Nazino its grim nickname. One survivor described it simply: there was nothing left to eat. The dead lay where they fell until others found them useful. Nazino Island, Siberia, was never meant to be a colony for survival. It was simply a dumping ground. Over 6,000 prisoners, many of them ordinary people rounded up in Soviet sweeps of the poor and homeless, were sent here with barely the clothes on their backs, a handful of flour to share, and no tools or shelters. Within days, hunger set in and the conditions grew desperate. Flour rationed out in handfuls was nearly impossible to eat without cooking supplies. Those who dared leave the island in search of food or water faced violent guards. Returning was often more dangerous than leaving. What began as a struggle for survival quickly turned to chaos. Without food, the prisoners grew delirious and violent. Starvation blurred the line between life and death. To the horror of Soviet officials, cases of cannibalism were soon reported by the guards themselves. I saw them eating the bodies of the dead. They would wait for someone to die, or worse, some would even kill. What happened on Nazino Island was a symptom of a far larger vision, one that Stalin believed would transform the Soviet Union into a superpower. The goal was to shape a loyal Soviet society, even if it meant stripping people of freedom, individuality, and, as we see here, their humanity. By the end of 1933, an estimated 4,000 prisoners were dead, many having succumbed to starvation, disease, violence, and the desperation that drives humans to their breaking point. Today, Nazino Island stands empty, a silent witness to a story erased from textbooks and suppressed in Soviet records. But the truth of Cannibal Island reminds us of the cost of unchecked power, the dehumanization of the vulnerable, and the extremes to which human beings are driven when faced with survival. In the end, Cannibal Island was meant to be forgotten, buried under decades of Soviet secrecy. But as long as we remember, the stories of those who suffered and survived will never be silenced.